Okay, today's memoirs in Exhibit 6. Exhibit 6 is public information. The bank's usual documented bank fraud, now legalized international anarchy as world economic treason. Now, I discovered the banks filed and recorded government documentation of illegal legal land descriptions, double deed collateralization, and more. Now, Exhibit 6 is the filed evidence that was filed within the bankruptcy court proceedings, of which the trustee by law has to review and turn anything to the U.S. Attorney General and U.S. trustee, turn it over to them if they find anything suspicious. Exhibit 6 proves beyond a shadow of a doubt. Now, anyone can add unknown account number altercations such as 16, 60, 41, 4 to any contracts and without any party's initial approvals whatsoever to any filed and recorded deed of trust with the knowingly correct legal description anyone so chooses, to knowingly racketeer inside traders price fixing and collateralizing the same properties twice and within federal bankruptcy procedures and or more. Now, page 303 to page 322 confirms the actual land legal descriptions all the way back to the Republic of Texas on December 22nd, 1836. And all the way back when the Republic of Texas joined the Union on March the 1st, 1845. Now, your tax dollars funded and legalized your get-out-of-jail-free cards. So all who are now unjustly accused, fined, and are in prison for like conduct now legalized offenses via international case law for winning arbitrations, grand juries, no bills, appeals, pardons, and paroles. You as a tax-paying commoner, in fact, pay and fund the same public servants' salaries, benefits, and retirements until the day they die. You already paid and funded for your rights to your get-out-of-jail-free cards. Constitutionally, we're all created equal. You would be a fool not to utilize these get-out-of-jail-free cards. To stop squandering the tax-paying commoners' funding of the Department of Justice that's already legalized these offenses, this will lessen the tax burden against the tax-paying commoners and fiat paper money's inflation and overtaxation, having already racked up over $35 trillion in U.S. debt. Now, when this $35 trillion or more hits the fan, and it will hit the fan, that's $100,000 per man, woman, and child in the USA today. Now, if you have a baby today, that baby is already in debt $100,000, and approximately will owe $5,000 of interest for the first year that baby is alive. Now, let's all hope our babies have good paying jobs because they're going to certainly need them. In order to form a more perfect union, sooner or later, all will in fact be held accountable. AI's developments will easily track down all economic traders, all hackers, and all who created, inflicted, and allowed international anarchy as world economic treason. All knowing full well as being in contempt of court and or jurisdictions, all knowing full full well their government documented paper trail as obstructions of justice. Now, if you're foolish enough to leave a paper trail, and you leave a government documented paper trail as obstructions of justice. Oh. All knowing full well their liabilities as penalties of perjury, the tax-paying commoners have no choice but to reduce your jurisdiction's budgets. All were in fact given plenty of time and plenty of chances to correct, persecute, and collect corruption's liabilities owed to the U.S. Treasury, owed to the SEC, and owed to the victims thereof. When economies collapse, there's no honor amongst economic traders, nor amongst alleged allies being held accountable, as confirmed in Artho Economics Chapter 4, who will in fact immediately start turning states' evidence against each other, who have already subjected themselves to the demands of the rule of law for economic treason, which may or may not include public executions, in exchange for lesser sentencing, imprisonments, and or corruption's liabilities owed to the U.S. Treasury, the SEC, and the victims thereof. The sooner suspected felons start turning in evidence of documents, emails, and or notarized affidavits for a lesser sentencing, sent to filedevidence@gmail.com, such as account number 1660414, who it actually belongs to, and who economic traders were that double collateralized, and who committed the economic world choosing. Knowing the documented international anarchy's world economic treason will economically and mathematically collapse the world economies. Now, it doesn't take a financial genius to figure this out, or a mathematical genius. Especially when investors lose their faith in investing in T-bills to finance the printing of fiat paper monies, inflation, and overtaxation, to increase the tax burden against an already over-tax-paying commoners who just simply can't afford it anymore. Fleecing. That's when a violent world repeats a violent world's history over and over again. By inflicting the usual food shortages of starving women, children, and the elderly to death, inflicting the usual food riots and killings in the street, inflicting the usual wannabe warlords, dictators, and politicians' civil wars. While convincing some of the weak-minded tax-paying commoners that their economic policies will serve as the weak-minded's personal enabler, while fleecing the flock less than their competing wannabes' intentions of fleecing the same tax-paying commoners, or will arrest, beat, and or shoot to death all who oppose their non-cash flowing policies. Mankind does not have to live like this, nor does mankind have to die out like this. The good news and the hope for future generations is mankind's technology. Online classes self-educate all who are willing to sift through, research, and learn. World travel, and our soon-to-be universal travel to places to live in exile, when it's time to salvage what you can and seek laissez-faire economic policies to recoup your losses in other jurisdictions, nations, and our soon-to-be universal destinations. Now, to the younger generation, spend your time wisely, spend your energy positively, and spend your resources sustainably. You'll be all right. These things always work out.